More than a year of waiting, the people of Verte get answers today. A coroner's report has just come out into the deadly fire, as I said, just over a year ago, that killed 32 people at a senior's home. And that report includes a scathing list of what went wrong. Jay Turnbull on the story for us. He's been looking over the 130 pages. And Jay, what are the main headlines? What does this report say?
Well, Heather, nothing perhaps that was unexpected. We knew that they were going to talk about sprinklers, for example. Remember, in the building, there were no sprinklers were not mandatory in the section of the building that burned down. So the coroner is suggesting that those should be mandatory across the province. Should be some sort of law that says that those definitely should be put in. He also points out there was just not enough staff the night of the fire. Remember, it started just after midnight. There were more than 50 people inside the residence where they burned down. 32 of them died, as you mentioned. Only one staff member working that night, and that staff member himself admitted that he didn't have the proper training in how to deal with a fire. So there is the coroner says that the people who are working at the seniors' homes should definitely have more training how to deal with fires. He also points a finger, I guess we can say, at the local fire department, or at least the emergency response. Now, the fire chief, the local fire chief, was criticized for not acting quickly enough to the fire, for not alerting surrounding communities about the fire. Now, Heather, you were there in Verte. You know, it's a sort of a remote community. It's not connected to any large urban centers. So you sort of need all hands on deck when a fire of that magnitude happens. So the coroner is suggesting that there'd be some sort of emergency response system that would alert nearby towns as well to help out. Now, all that being said, the coroner says these are suggestions. He is not saying that this would have prevented the fire or perhaps even the tragedy, because there were so many factors going against the people in the residence. One of the factors, of course, was the winds that were there that night. The flames spread so quickly.
When we get a coroner's report like this, Jay, it's never to assign or ascribe blame. It's always to recommend, try to find ways to prevent a similar disaster from happening. So let's turn to recommendations next. What does he say to avoid this kind of deadly tragedy?
Well, he's saying that another one of the problems was that in this particular instance, some of the people that were staying in the homes, there were rooms that weren't equipped for them. They had reduced mobility, no way for them to get out quickly enough. So that's one of the things that he says that should be looked into as well. As I mentioned, the sprinklers should be installed as well as training for firefighters. He says there's a grandfather clause in right now where some of the older, more senior firefighters don't need to refresh their training. He says that should stop. They should all be retrained frequently enough so they could handle a situation like this. Again, remember, this was a volunteer fire force, and they're saying that perhaps volunteer firefighters need more and better training to handle a situation like this. But I think the biggest issue, as we were all sort of expecting, sprinklers, which may have definitely helped in this situation.
Jay, thank you very much.